Hello guys, and welcome to another lap time challenge video. In this one I'm going to show you a lap guide around this Watkins Glen International Racing Circuit, and we are in the Chaparral 2J from 1970. An absolutely amazing car, and two OGs know this was in older Gran Turismos. Anyway, as you can see, I've done a 28.5, which is first by 4.5-ish tenths at the moment. I think there's still a bit of lap time in my lap though. I think my max is personally 0.3, but I reckon someone might even do a 0.0 or 0.1. So I reckon the gold estimate will be around a 30.6 area, if I were to guess. Anyway, as you can see in the car settings in the ECU section, the power curve here, the power starts to drop off around 10.3, 10.4 kUs if I were to guess. So another way to find out whereabouts to rev the car to is if you go to transmission, or say how much RPM, 7.5k. That's usually a good idea of whereabouts to rev this car up to. So I rev it from first to second around 112 mile an hour, and from second to third around 161 mile an hour. Anyway, I'm going to show you my fastest lap, followed by my detailed lap after it. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it is helpful. Don't forget to like it if it does help. So I'll see you there. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that I just shown. Now I'm going to show you how I've done it. Before I get into it, one or two things. First of all, thanks for the recent support. Greatly appreciate it. I enjoy doing these, so I'll carry on doing these, and I do some vids in between every now and then, depending on the daily races and that. Second of all, and the key words I would say for this particular lap guide is throttle inputs. Just because, as you saw my fastest lap, I was using first gear a lot, and in first gear this car tends to wheel spin and oversteer quite a lot, so you have to be very careful on the throttle, but you need to put some throttle down to carry the downforce of this car. So let's get into it. First corner, 400 board here, literally brake on it. I see I just started to lift now as I approach 400, so I'm about to tap on the brake here. So I'm braking in a straight line all the way up to about 100 meters before I start turning it in and trail braking. So fully on the brakes. I'm on default ABS just in case you are not aware. Control player, and I use max sensitivity to control sensitivity is on 10, just so I can turn in with as little delay as possible. Anyway, turn one, like I said, brake on a 400 yards, whatever the whatever units America uses. I don't remember. If you know, put it in comments below, just for future references to American tracks. I know what I'm actually talking about, so I apologise if I get it incorrect here. Anyway, so breaking a straight line from from 400, whatever unit it is, then I start turning it on the 100 board, and I aim to be around 91 mile an hour in first gear. In fact, I turn a bit after 100, so I apologise for that. But as you get to about halfway on this curb, you want to be at about 90 or 91 mile an hour, and 146 kilometers around this area. By the time you get to halfway around it, you want to be about 78% throttle input, just so that you have enough throttle to pick up the speed, but not have too much wheel spin on oversteer next to it. I had a bit of wheel spin on this particular lap, but I caught it quickly. I will recommend, by the way, for these next two corners are flat, but I recommend trying to have your right wheels hook onto this part of the curb here. So try have your right wheels like directly on this part of the curb, so like on the edge of its inside curb, just to help drag your car around. And basically you don't have to put as much steering input in because your car / tyre is hooked onto this curb, which is helping you turn. So you don't have to put as much input in, so you're more on the inside, which opens up the next part of the corner, and you can carry a bit more speed. Very slightly. It's like 100th difference, but every little helps. So I recommend trying to have your hook onto it. However, if you are going to do this, try not to put too much turning input in, because if you do, your car could snap a bit. I'd say turning input for this corner, I use the end of its curb, because if you turn slightly after, if you miss like the inside curb of the next corner, you will just understeer right and hit the barrier. So you have to time your turn inputs very well here. So I used the end of this curb. As soon as I went to the end of this curb, I turned to the left. Try to touch this inside curb as well, but it doesn't matter if you do. Just try and get close to it at least, just so you don't have to lift. And again, like the previous two corners, try hook onto this curb so you don't have to put as much steering input in and carry a bit more speed. And it's just less track distance in general. Safety 100 also. Next corner, as you can see, 22.706 first sector. I will say my best I've done is a 6.36, I think it was from my memory. Anyway, next corner, I brake a bit after this 500 board here. I broke about a car length after it, so about here is where I broke. So about 450 is probably a good reference. So I'll brake in a straight line. As soon as I get to this 200, I start to turn in. I'll pause here, because if you touch too much of its inside curb, your car will bounce and it will stop turning, at least under control. It'll overreact to the curb and it will stop turning, so you miss the whole next part of the chicane. So try have like some part of your car on the track still. So like have like 3/4 of your car on the curb, quarter of it off. Next part, try cut this curb. I think as long as you don't touch the grass. Actually, no. I believe as long as your right part of your tyres rejoin the track before you get to this white line, it will not invalidate your lap. So I was on the very limit here, and you want to be carrying about 119 or 120 mile an hour at this point. As soon as your car stops bouncing and it lines up for this next left and right part, I go back on the throttle. At times, try to be on 100% of the throttle, but at times you might have to not manipulate, but like modulate the throttle a bit, just so that your car like grips. So like here, I'm still off throttle because my car's still bouncing, but as soon as my car stops bouncing, I'm on the throttle 100%. As I get to this curb, as you see, I am lifting slightly, just so that my car doesn't overreact on the little bump again and stop turning for this next part. So I gradually lift, but when I say lift, I mean like 80% throttle input still. As soon as it goes over that bump, straight back on 100% throttle. I'm trying to cut this bit a bit, but again, you have to lift a bit. I think I do. Yeah, I lift a bit, just so again my car doesn't overreact on a curb and shove me too wide and compromise my next corner. I've just gone past it, sorry, but as I get to this board here, I lift and do small brake input. And try hug the inside curb here because it helps grip your car up a bit, I found anyway. I was aiming to be about, what was it? About 111, 112 mile an hour on this corner. So try have your right wheels on this curve already. And as you get about halfway around it, you'll just notice it when you do laps. You'll get used to when about to put the throttle down. On this particular lap, I did it a bit too late, but because I hugged the inside quite well, I didn't lose too much time. But I did lose a little bit of time here. So try have your right wheels hook onto this curb here. Try be on throttle about halfway through. As you're about to see now, I don't use the whole exit because I was on the throttle a bit too late, so I definitely lost probably a half a tenth here. Anyway, next corner, you see this Coca-Cola board. I broke about a car length after it. About here is where I broke. So about 250 yards, whatever it is again, sorry. I think it's 250, I'm pretty sure it's in yards. So I'm breaking a straight line. You want to turn early because it's cambered. So you need to be close to the inside curb straight away. So see, I'm already started to turn in. Most corners you tend to like go on the outside and then turn in. But in this corner, because of a camber, you need to turn early and try hook, try get close to this curb at the very least. Try get on the curb, but if you miss it, it's okay. Just try get close to it at the very least. Just so you hit the camber, you could go on the throttle early and carry momentum, basically. I was aiming to be about 92 mile an hour here, I believe. Yeah, 92. And by the way, I will say on my laps, I was in first gear in that, but for this corner here and for this corner, if you want to use second and lose half a tenth on both those corners, it's fine. Just use second gear because it's a lot safer and it's a lot more consistent. In first gear, you have to modulate the throttle quite a lot to not wheel spin. So if you want to go second gear just to get the goal times and that, use second gear. It's not too much slower, but because I'm pushing for the top times, I use first gear because I find it faster. Next corner, these boards here, which line up to the braking boards here anyway. I broke about 250, about 260 actually. I broke a bit before halfway between the this first board here and the second board here. I broke about 260 yards. So about here is where I broke. 250, yeah, about 250. 250, 260. 260 safe, just because you can hug the inside. But anyway, initially you want to brake in a straight line, but as you approach the corner, I put about 60% brake input in just so I slowed down the car enough and kept it on the cambered bit of a corner, which is close to the inside again. But you don't want to touch the inside curve this time because your car will oversteer and you're not as much on the camber, so you can't carry as much momentum and speed anyway. So braking 250 yards, 260 yards, braking a straight line, 100% not fall, 100% brake input. You want to do like sort of a V shape, but try hug the inside anyway, just because that's where the camber is. As you can see, basically, where you see the darker tarmac, that is where the camber is and where the grip is. You want to have your car on there if you can. Try not to touch the inside curve, like I said before. I was aiming to be about 80 mile an hour, 81, 82 mile an hour. As you can see, I've got about 70% throttle input, just so I don't have too much wheel spin, and I'm picking up the speed. But as I got towards the exit of the corner, you'll see me plant the throttle down. I have a touch of oversteer, touch of a slide, but it's okay. You want to maximize the exit because this car has a very long first gear. So because of the way the power curve is, you want to be on the throttle early. Good S2 in my opinion. I think that's about a 10th in it for me. Yeah, but I'm happy with the S2 I did. Anyway, next corner. See this 300 yard box and 200 yard box. Again, about 250 yards is where I'll break for this corner. So again, I'm going to break in a straight line. As I approach the 100 board, you'll see me start to trail brake and turn and try to hit the inside curb. But if you miss it, it's fine. Just get close to it. So as you see, just gone past 100, I started turning. I'm still 100% on the brake input because I need to slow the car down. But as soon as I get towards the curbs, you'll see me trail brake. Try to have your right wheels touch the inside curb, but if you miss it, it's fine. Just don't be too wide. As you can see, I've just missed it, but as long as you carry momentum, that's all that matters. Because the exit's very wide, so it doesn't really matter if you hit the inside curb because you want to have a good angle where you can put the throttle down and not understeer wide. So even if you miss the inside curb, you do tend to understeer a bit if you touch it anyway. So it doesn't matter if you miss it a bit. So again, have 70% throttle input, just so I pick up the speed and momentum. But as soon as I get close to the outside curb, that's where I felt there was more grip, so I put the throttle down. If you do that though, you might have a little bit oversteer, especially if you have your left wheels go over this curb and onto the outside track bit. Just be careful and be prepared to catch a snap. On this particular lap, I didn't have to because I kept very little turn input, so I didn't have too much oversteer to deal with. Anyway, going towards the end of S3 now, I broke about half a car length after the 200 board, about here. About a car length after, actually. But it's better to brake early than late in this corner, because if you brake too late, you will just miss the corner and you'll lose 2 tenths easily. So I'll brake 100%, turn early, because you want to hug the inside again, similar to the corner here, as you see on my mouse cursor. You want to hug the inside, because you just gain time doing that. I missed it a bit. In my opinion, it's better to initially miss the inside curb a bit, just so you can carry momentum and have a better angle out for the corner, so you can put more foot on the exit. I was aiming to be about high 70s, was it? I don't actually remember. Let me see the kilometers. I was about 120 kilometers, so about high 70s, mile an hour, low 80s. I'd say 78 mile an hour from memory is what I was doing here. Again, 60-70% full input initially, just to carry the speed and momentum, and then as I exit the corner, you see I'll get 100% full input, because again the exit of the corner there's quite a lot of track available, so you can go on throttle early. As soon as I felt my car straightened out, that's when I went 100% throttle, because if you put 100% throttle in and your car's not in a straight line, you will oversteer and you'll lose a tenth or two on the exit, just trying to catch the rear end. Anyway, second last corner, I messed it up a bit, so I apologise, but I did a tiny brake input after the 200 board, about car length after it, like that. Try use all the outside track here. As you can see, my right wheels is literally on the right line, so try use the whole track. Try have your left wheels touch the inside curb, but again, if you miss it a bit, doesn't matter too much. Just try and get close to the curb at least. As you can see, I missed it a bit, so I have to delay my throttle input because I missed the curb, and I'm going to run out of track. So if I had my left wheels on this point now, I'd probably already be on the floor, because I'd have enough track distance to put the throttle down and stay on track. But because I missed it, I had to delay the throttle a bit, which doesn't matter too much if you carry momentum at least, but you'll lose half a tenth here and there. Try use the exit curb, but don't go too wide here. But your right wheels is too much over the curb and on the outside track bit. Because if you do that, your car will slide again, and it'll also compromise your last corner, because you need to go over to the left as quickly as possible, because you're braking very early for this last corner, just so you don't steer too wide. At least for my preference, I like to brake early. So anyway, last corner, I'd say halfway between the end of this curb and the end of this blue barrier, that is where I broke for this last corner, about here. I'm not fully on the left, which is okay. It's just try and get to the left by the time you brake, because it'll just make your life easier braking for last corner. But if you go for top times, you probably have to compromise your entry a bit for last corner, just so you maximise the previous corner. Anyway, so I broke, like I said, halfway between the end of the right curb and the end of this barrier here. I broke halfway between the two. I was looking for about 110 mile an hour on this last corner, and I'll pause on the corner, but basically you want your right tyres to hook onto the inside curb, because it just helps drag your car around the corner, and you can carry momentum on that. Might be a bit cambered again. That's probably why it's better to touch the inside curb. So as soon as I started turning, you'll see I'm already trail braking 30-40% brake inputs, just so I carry momentum and I don't want to steer too much. So try have your right wheels all the way on this curb to drag you round the corner and carry more momentum, which I did quite well on this lap, but it's very hard to do. And obviously try and maximise the exit. As long as you don't touch a barrier, should be okay. I believe in this car, since it's quite thin as well, if you have all four wheels, beyond this yellow line, I think your track gets invalidated. So be careful of that. So try not absolutely maximise it because you might invalidate your lap. But just have at least half your car on this curve just so you maximise the exit. And that's it. And that's a 125.506, I think it was. Yeah, 128.506. Very happy with this lap. I think there's 2 temps in it max for me personally. I think the top times, like I said, will be 0.0, 0.1. So I hope this has helped. Any questions you've got on what I'm doing, ask them in the comments. I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Just try initially just do multiple laps just to get in the flow of it. As you can see, my first lap was 670, second lap was 690, third lap was 506. Obviously, these weren't the only 3 laps I did in the whole thing. I did 180 miles to do my lap. But I think tie temps comes into it a bit, so maybe it's slightly better to do second and third lap just because you don't have too much oversteer in the first corner. But I don't think it matters too much, to be honest. This is on recent stuff, so tyres will probably overheat, especially on this track anyway. Just get into the flow of it. Try hook onto the curbs if you can. Just play around with the throttle and gears. Do what you prefer. Because I'm doing it in first gear. Just because I'm doing it in first gear doesn't mean it's better for you to do it in first gear. Because it's a lot harder to do it in first gear. If you just want to aim for gold time or silver time, whatever your level is at, just use second gear and plant the throttle down. Because you can go 100% throttle input if you use second gear. You can't do that in first gear because you'll have too much wheel spin and oversteer on the exits otherwise. So anyway, I hope this has helped. And I'll show you how to get to the event and how to see 2 ways to see the replay of my laps and to load a ghost of my lap time up because I got a professional world record and I saved my lap so you can see the replays and load the ghost up of my lap times. So I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you there. Cheers. Okay guys, first way to see a replay of my lap is you go to showcase, go to content search. If you're in the 2J, select it. If you're not, just go to replays and type. Probably the best way to see my replays is type my name in, because I tag everything with my name in. Make sure you're in replays though, otherwise you just won't see it. Anyway, and there it is. It'll say professional world record 128.506. If I improve, I'll probably share it, because I will probably try this again, because it's very enjoyable. But anyway, for now, 128.506. See replay here. Another way to see the replay and how to get to it in the first place, go to Sport in the top right of the home section. Once it loads up, there we go. Online time trials. Since it's the first week, it is on the left-hand side of the combo. I believe they're using this for the Next Nations Round combo as a sprint race. That's probably why it says Round 3 Los Angeles, since it's the next World Tour Nations sprint race. So anyway, since the first week is on the left-hand side, when it's below 7 days left, it will be on the second pit here, because there'll be another time trial challenge before it. Anyway, over here, select the car, and if you don't have a car, which I believe everyone has it, I believe you get it from licenses or whatever. Select the car, make sure you're on racing softs. If you don't have it, you can just buy it here. Go to qualifying time bank, and you can see replay here, or on my friends list. Hopefully I should be top 20 throughout the whole thing, because my lap's pretty good. So I'll be near the top anyway. And to load a ghost my lap time, go to the event, go to settings, and then let's go settings. So I would recommend, if you were to follow my ghost, have this off, so that is your ghost, your personal best ghost of the session, which will load. You don't want to have, in my opinion, you don't want to have both ghosts on because it will just distract you. So if you were to follow my ghost, have that off, have this on. And if you want to have it reset after each sector, you'd have this button on. If you only want to have it reset after each lap only, have this off. Because that means it resets after each sector, as you can see from the info on the bottom of the screen. And you can have my ghost start at a certain amount of time ahead of you by playing this around. So if you want to have it start at 2 lengths after each sector, you'd have this on and put this to 0.2. Just so you can react to where I'm braking and where I'm turning. It's pretty good settings in my opinion. Anyway, that's how you play around with the ghost settings. So I hope this has helped. Really happy with my lap. I'm 4.5 times clear at the moment, but there's no like top drivers that have attempted this yet, in my opinion. Potentially he's a very good driver, don't get me wrong, but he's not. He doesn't push for top times, if you understand me. So, and I'm sure he'd admit that as well. He'll be chill with it. Anyway, 28.506, top time 0.1.0, so you want about 20.6. 30.5 is a definite gold though. If you get 30.5 and below, guaranteed gold, guaranteed 2 mil credits. But anyway, like I said, if you need help and guidance, comment, I'll answer you. Any recommendations I get, I'll look into it and I'll answer. And I hope this has helped in general. So like and sub if this has helped. I'll carry on with these lap time challenges. There's another lap time challenge that came out on St. David's, which was a Toyota Corolla at one of the dirt tracks. I don't remember what track it's called. I think it was Colorado Springs first or something. So I'll try to do that, but it's a very hard combo on the pad. So I'll try my best, but I do struggle on dirt tracks. I'll try my best to get that out for tomorrow. So as of recording, 31st of October. I'll try to get it out for that point. So hope this has helped. I hope you enjoyed. Cheers. Goodbye.